welcome back to another wonderful episode of Metal Gear University.
I am T.
And I'm K. Metal Gear Solid 2 is finally over, with all due respect.
Mm-hmm.
And you are now listening to a 201 episode, which is a Get to Know Us episode.
I am very relaxed. the past week before recording this episode, I had this like itch in the back of my head going like, you have to take notes.
Yeah.
We have to prepare. And I was like, wait a minute. We don't have to.
It's a new day. It's a new day. And the topic for this episode is a 201, but it's about us. So we don't really need to take notes.
Yeah, you can take notes about me. I already know me.
I could study you.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Anyway, so now that Metal Gear Solid 2 is over, we're going to do a couple 201 episodes like we said. So if this is your first time listening to Metal Gear University, I would recommend maybe checking out one of our 101 episodes to get a feel for what we do here. This is specifically about us.
Yeah, this is, we're breaking the formula a little bit. And realistically, this probably should have been like the first episode, but you know, that's just not how we roll. We do things our own way here.
I think there's a couple episodes where we probably don't even say our names. We just
go
right
we just
in.
Go like, hi everybody, and then we just dive in.
So here you go. 6 months later, here's your Get to Know Us episode. It has been 6 months of Metal Gear University. Do you know that?
I can't believe it, to be honest with you. I didn't think that this podcast, not to say that like I didn't have faith in our podcast. It's just that like it's one of those things that, you know, I just thought like it would be like a fun little project, and I'm just surprised on how much it's grown.
I don't remember what we did before the podcast. Like, did we just sit on the couch and watch TV? Because I feel like now we talk about the podcast, we make our notes, we think of new topics for episodes. Like, what did we do before this?
I don't know.
It feels like it's always been here. Like,
yeah,
it's like
right?
A child. Like, you can't remember life before your child.
Like, I know we did other things. I just don't know what they were, you know?
Well, now it's here and it's in our life, and I love it.
Yeah. No, I'm having a lot of fun.
6 months. People have already sent us messages like, another 6 months, like, let's go. So, honestly, messages like that make me so happy. For example, we got a lot of messages from our last episode.
Yeah.
Our last episode, as some of you saw, was our Splinter Cell University episode, which was our April Fool's joke.
We were in a silly, goofy mood.
I like to think we're like silly little guys.
Yeah.
Just over here.
And just to clear the air, I do enjoy Splinter Cell.
Likewise.
I was just poking fun. That's
Splinter Cell, Siphon Filter, big fans. It was just a joke. It was a little joke. And we got some messages from people being like, this was almost the worst one. Wow, I'm so excited. I was like, no. I'm so sorry.
I can't wait for your deep dive into Splinter Cell. I was like, fuck.
Then we got some messages, which I thought were honestly so sweet. There were people who had reached out. A couple who were like, I don't know if you guys are getting like hate mail or some bad criticism, but like, you know, you don't have to switch the formula, but like, you guys are doing great. Like, let this be an email to show that you're doing great.
Uh-huh.
So I'm sorry as well.
Yeah. Honestly, it's really sweet knowing that we have like people in our corner like that. I find that like really cool.
Every review, every rating that pops up every time I check, it means the absolute world. So, you know, if you haven't rated or reviewed it yet, please do so on Apple or Spotify or wherever. But yeah, I feel like I'll typically find the new review and then show you, and we're just sitting in silence. Like, wow.
Like, wow, people exist outside of this little room, and they email us. Get the fuck out of here.
And they listen.
Wow.
So it's been really fun. I'm sorry. We were thinking after we finish this podcast, which probably won't be for another year. I don't know how long this will go on. But after Metal Gear University is done, we cover all the Metal Gears. Maybe we'll just do a general gaming podcast.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, not to say that to people who are beginning to like hyperventilate and sweat, this podcast isn't going anywhere anytime soon. It's going to be okay.
Okay.
And we're not going anywhere.
We're not.
And that said, even when we cover all the mainline Metal Gear Solid games and we do all the 201 episodes that we envisioned, if something pops up, like I'm totally down to coming back. And if we want to, like, just have like a one-off, But
that's a good point.
Honestly, this is way down the line. So
I was just kind of explaining like our like future goals.
And we're not going anywhere. Even if and when this podcast is more or less has run its course, we're going to be in the space. So you don't have to worry.
And please also feel free to reach out to us. We're on Twitter as TKandM. We have a YouTube channel as well. It is also a few days shy of our YouTube anniversary.
Yeah.
I think our 1 year YouTube anniversary.
Get out of here.
Let me just check real quick. I know this is live, sorry. We released this video April 15th, 2023.
Yeah, we made an unboxing video for the RE4 Collector's Edition.
Where you'll hear my voice. But it's about to be a year from our first YouTube video.
Wow. So
like we're hitting some milestones.
How soon is it till our 1 year from our Cult of Big Boss episode?
June
14th.
June 14th. Wow. Yeah, maybe we'll do something for that. But I feel like if any of you have an idea or are looking for that sign to start something, just do it. Because God knows how long it took us.
Yeah. I remember we were walking home from the gym and it was fucking hot. I remember it being hot.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what? We keep talking about it like this all the time. Let's just do it.
Why not us?
Like let's just do it.
So let this be a sign to you, because it's at the bare minimum, it's fun for us.
Yeah. And
the bare minimum.
I feel like when we went to MGS Con, it was like an eye-opener for me at least. Like I've been following, people who are in like the Metal Gear content creator space for a while. And for me, there's always like degrees of separation between me and the creator. So like it feels like, oh, it's something that I don't do. It's something that they do. And when I went there in person and I saw prominent YouTubers there, I saw like huge podcast people. I had drinks with another prominent YouTuber / podcaster, and I was like, these are just like dudes.
I'm a dude too.
Yeah, we're all dudes. And I'm like, I could do it.
She's a dude. Mm-hmm.
And we did like a YouTube video before MGS Con, but that was, I feel like actually going there was like this seed that was planted.
Oh, for you? Yeah.
Where like it just made me realize, like, why not us?
I like that. No, I get that, because I feel like it's natural to have self-doubt or like overly criticize, and I feel like you and I struggle with that. We'll do something and be like, I don't know. And even if it's not perfect, I think we've gotten to a point where we're just like, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Because why not us?
And to those who are listening that just hear our voices or whatever and think, hey man, they have the podcast, they have all of this content, and they make all of this like creative decisions, and that's not something that is meant for me. And if you have an inkling to try it, just do it.
Because we felt like that too.
Because we were exactly like that. And we just started doing this, and like this is a humble brag, but our numbers are fucking crazy. Like, I am shocked at the amount of people that listen to this thing.
Yeah, no, I'm very, very humbled as well. And I think what's even more humbling is when we get emails, we get comments on Twitter, or like I've met such, and we're going to talk about them in a bit, because they actually sent in listener letters to us.
I know! But people fucking sent stuff in! I would have, like, when we were talking about, like, listener letters, I was like, oh, man, we're going to get, like, one? We got, like, so many!
No, it's been really humbling, and I feel like from two just, like, random-ass New Yorkers, just the biggest dorks you'll ever meet, this is really humbling. And so T, I'm honestly glad because I've known you for so long, and for you to get to a point where you were like, let's just do this. So proud of you and so happy. Oh, if only everybody could see his little face right now.
I'm glad no one can see my little face right now.
But yeah, like, you know what? I feel like we should just get into it right now. We have listening letters I had put out on Twitter and Instagram and previous episodes. I asked people to send in any questions they had for us, and we got quite a few, both Metal Gear Solid related and otherwise. And I thought, before we jump into those listener letters, let's do a little bit of an introduction of each other.
Okay.
I just got really nervous for some reason.
Like they're gonna know us now.
They're gonna perceive me. Let's begin though with the origins of TKandM.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been our username for the past. It's gonna be 3 years.
I can't believe we've been doing this for 3 years.
When we first started, we began on Twitch. I think like many people during the pandemic, you went one of two ways. You just kind of receded into yourself, which is valid,
mm-hmm.
or came out of your shell and tried something new.
Yeah, you try to reach out or reach inward.
And I think we did both. I think for a while we were very much like just trying to survive. You and I kind of retreated back to like childhood.
Yeah,
likes.
I played so many video games. And not in like a healthy way. There's like, like a good video game binge and a bad video game binge. I was bad. I was not in a good state of mind.
I went back and I was reading fan fiction and reading manga, and I was like, oh my God, like I haven't done this in like decades.
Mm-hmm.
So I think after a couple of months of the pandemic, we were like, you know what? We're bored. And we've been watching streamers for so long. I mean, we've been watching streamers. I remember when Twitch TV was Justin TV, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt after a decade or so, why not? We our favorite YouTubers, some of them ended actually around the time that we started. So we thought, why not?
Yeah.
And so TKandM began. T for Tom.
That's me.
K for Crystal. That's me. And M for my brother. And
yep. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, yes, we were originally a trio.
And TKandM was a placeholder name.
Yes. And about like a week or two into streaming, M was like, I don't want to do this.
He was like, I don't want to be on video. I don't like talking to people. He's like, it's not for me.
And respectable. I get it. So he took more of like a backseat role. And when I mean a backseat role, he just didn't want to do it anymore. All due respect. Like that's just how it happened. And we just had this placeholder name, and we were like, I still kind of like it. So we just kind of rolling with it.
And I don't think anything's better than TKandM now. That's us. Every time we're in Twitch, everyone's like, who's M? And I have a little cardboard cutout of my brother in the back of our camera.
Yeah, we have like M lore that our everyday chatters like to know about M.
Sometimes if you're lucky, he'll be in chat. He'll come in every once in a while and be like, "Hi," and that's it. That's all we'll get from him. But that's really the origin of TKandM. We began on Twitch, and we were on Twitch for I think about 2 years, and we had looked at YouTube as like it'd be fun to do on the side. I feel like we are not big Let's Players. That's not to say that we won't do it in the future. But we watch a lot of lore videos, a lot of unboxings, or I watch a lot of unboxings.
Oh, I do a lot of lore.
So we thought, let's just see. We have Premiere Pro. Let's find it out. So we started with 2 unboxing videos. And then we were like, you know what? Let's do a lore video.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be about a year ago. We did the Cult of Big Boss. And that one, we were blessed. It moderately blew up.
I can't believe how many videos it got. Especially like that was like our 3rd video and like our first lore video. This was before like, correct me if I'm wrong. I think this was before the Master Collection was announced or Delta was announced.
I think so.
So like the fact that it blew up the way it did, like I think as of right now, it's sitting at, I think as of right now, it's sitting at 36,000 views, which is crazy.
Yeah. It's funny to see a number like that and think it's about something you created.
Yeah.
For our YouTube content, do you want to explain who does what?
Yeah, sure. The two of us come up with an idea, like a general plot for a video, like your mission statement, so to speak. Kay handles a lot of the how do you say, like the scientific, the research in terms of like, you might be better at explaining this part. What do you research? What do you do?
So essentially, like Tom said, we come up with a thesis. I would call it a thesis.
You see, that's that Ivy League talking.
Shut up. We come up with a thesis, and that kind of guides all the research I do. Is it safe to say that I'm the writer?
Yeah.
So I write the script, and I don't want to think of haters, but like I think of like if there's a misogynist out there who hears any of our videos, just know a Puerto Rican woman wrote it. I like to think about that potential. But I do the writing and the research. I write that, and then I'll come to Tom and be like, read through everything, make sure it's lore accurate, and make sure it just makes sense. Because Tom is, as you all know, the voiceover. He does the video editing.
Yeah.
And I think with your background in acting, you really know, like I feel like you have a really good sense of how things come together and look.
Yeah, I would say that I was primarily chosen. I mean, it's hard to say chosen when it's just the two of us, but chosen to be the narrator, not just for appeasing potential misogynists.
We don't care about that.
We don't care about that. It was more of like, who's more comfortable reading this shit.
And I think my voice is okay. I think your voice sounds really well over video and on mic, so.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I handle a lot of the, all of the video editing and audio editing of the videos that we produce. And I do my narration voice is.
Someone said it was AI. They asked if it was.
They
AI.
thought my voice was AI. It's not. My voice is not AI.
They were like, "This sounds like a Solid Snake AI." Like,
yeah. Okay, this is not a humble brag. I am by a default a crazy humble person. I swear. But I have gotten
This is the second non-humble thing you've said in this episode.
I'm just saying what people say to me.
Okay.
You can go to our
Humble
YouTube.
brag.
You can go to our YouTube comments. It's all there. People on multiple occasions say that I sound like David Hayter, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty sick. That's pretty cool.
And not to go too deep into it, but I always tell Tom spent a lot of time with these games for reasons in life, and I always say that Solid Snake raised him. So
You're not far off.
Solid Snake raised you, so you spent so many years listening to those cutscenes and hearing him that you just naturally grew into the voice.
Life's not about passing on your genes. And I'm like, yes, father. Yes, father.
But YouTube, that's I think it's a pretty good split. I feel like there's maybe more I could be doing, but I think for now it's a pretty good split. Like behind it, like we split it that way, and then podcast, it's both of us doing research and questions and whatnot, and then we actually, I would say 50-50 do the editing for the audio.
Yeah,
which I'm very grateful that I learned how to do to help you.
Yeah, I gave you like a little sit rep on how to like edit it, and you've helped out my workload by so many leaps and bounds.
We're a team.
Thank you.
No, we're a team. I was so happy to help, and I wanted to help.
Like Kay takes out a lot of the that. She takes out
pauses.
the embarrassingly long pauses. all that stuff. And then I come in, do the second run. I put all the little bleeps and bloops in.
Oh yeah, the sound effects.
The music, the Future Tom stuff. And then that's it. We call it a day. And then we send it out there for you guys to enjoy.
No, I think we're a pretty good team, and we found the flow, I think. And I think it's just enough for us right now. I can't imagine doing anything more than these three things.
Yeah, we have a good house of cards going, and one more card will topple this whole thing over.
So you can find us on Twitch, YouTube, and wherever you find podcasts under TKandM. And please, you check us out. We work really hard on everything we do. And our main thing for any kind of media we produce. It's just we want you to feel the passion and feel that we're having fun. We want to be positive.
Yeah. I definitely want to bring a positive attitude to not just the Metal Gear space, but to like just online in general.
Because we talk about politics and harsh things that are happening and really sad things that are happening, but we want to be a positive force in all of that. You know, like have hope, be supportive.
It is easy to be a nihilist. It's easy to look at everything and say that everything's shitty.
We were there.
It takes a strong person to say that things can be better. And that is what I want this space to be.
100%. So, with that, T.
Yes.
Do you want to do a quick little intro of yourself?
Yeah, okay, sure.
Who you are, what you do, your goal.
Okay. Well, if you don't know by now, my name is T. Hello, everybody. I handle a lot of the lore stuff on this podcast, 80% accuracy. I handle a lot of the editing. Outside of this, I am a striving actor. I have done a couple of short films. I've had a film. I didn't make the film, but I was in a film that was in Cannes. It was pretty sick.
It was pretty cool.
Couldn't get a chance to go because it's in fucking France, but that's about it.
Yeah, so I mean, like he said, if you have any voice acting or acting gigs, or you know someone and you love T's voice, reach out. It's TKandM@gmail.com.
It's TKandM@gmail.com. It's TKandM@gmail.com.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Yeah, if you think that my voice sounds like David Hayter and you have a Metal Gear content thing that you think I could do, shoot an email my way at TKandM@gmail.com. That is TK. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But no, thank you. Fantastic intro.
Thank you. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Why, thanks, T. Hi, if you don't know who I am, I'm Kay. I am the writer for TKandM.
Yeah, you're the writer.
That's pretty fun to say. That's kind of cool. I am the writer. I do a lot of the research and editing of the script for our YouTube videos. And for the podcast, I help with the first round of edits. But in my day job, I'm a social worker. I represent parents in family court as a social worker, not an attorney. But I don't know what else to say. I'm a Puerto Rican from New York, and that's a big part of who I am. And BX all day, Bronx all day. And what else? I think that's about it. If you have any gigs you want to talk about, mental health, social work, New York, Puerto Rican, anything. If you just want someone to talk to about just like being a nerd for the entirety of their life, I'm your girl. And you can email me at itstkandm@gmail.com.
I'm sorry, it's TKandM@gmail.com.
But yeah, that's it. I mean, my intro, I'm really interested in just new experiences, new opportunities. And I think now that I've been writing a lot of lore and analysis videos, I'm excited to see what else is out there to do. And that's a little bit of us.
That is more or less who we are.
This episode does not have a pop quiz section. Honestly, it feels like we're getting a pop quiz.
Yeah. We've had a bunch of listeners write in questions. So in a way, the pop quiz is for us. You're quizzing us in a way.
Are you ready?
Oh, I am.
It is now TKandM's pop quiz.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
I know, I'm really nervous. You ready?
Yes. Let's
begin the episode. So, T, we have quite a bit of listener questions. And I say we take our time with them. If it's a short answer, it's a short answer. If not,
they're not. We'll take our time in answering.
So I want to thank everybody who wrote in. It really means the world to us. Like we said earlier, that you just took the time out to listen and then also, email us. As always, you can email us for anything at itstkandm@gmail.com. That is ITSTKandM@gmail.com. T, would you like to read the first question?
Of course I will. Question number 1. How did you two meet?
This question was from the lovely Survivor Type on Twitter. Their username is Survivor Type, and they're on Twitter. Fantastic artist who we've met, thankfully, due to this podcast.
Yes, they are such a talented person. Definitely check him out. They make, as SK said, exquisite art.
Yeah, the art. One of our, like, honestly, one of my favorite artists. I'm just grateful to have met them. They sent a couple of questions. So yeah, he asked, how did we meet? Would you like to answer that, or?
Yeah, sure. 12 years ago. Or 13 years ago?
Yeah, 13, I think.
Damn.
I know.
We met at a movie theater. We, this could easily be a story that we're here all day for, but long story short, I worked in a crazy ass environment. Like, think of like US version of The Office levels of insanity. And like you think like, oh, Tom, come on, it can't be. It was that bad.
No, it was wild. It honestly feels like a joke now that I like think back to things that happened.
Like, think back on the shenanigans.
It felt like who wrote this?
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I literally kind of felt like I was Jim. And
I don't like this comparison because I don't.
Yeah, I don't.
They're not a good couple.
They're not a good couple. I'm just trying to make links. Anyway, I felt like I was like the only sane person there, and a new hire got brought in, and it was you.
And it was me.
And I was like, holy shit, they're like a normal person. And I feel like you were like, holy shit, you're like the only normal person here.
Yeah, because I cannot begin to tell you, even from my first day there, I was like, okay, this job is wild. It's honestly a lot of stuff that we can't even make this episode really explicit, but like this job was wild.
A little window. There was a guy that pissed in the theater during Skyfall. It was Skyfall. It was in Theater 2. I'll never forget it. There was a guy that was leaving the theater at a brisk pace, and then there was this guy. He was ironically British, and he was like, "That man pissed in the theater," and I'm like, and it took me a minute. I was like, "What?
Like, what are you?
What are you talking about?" He was like, "He pissed in the theater," and by the time I realized, I put two and two together, the dude was gone.
The funniest part about that was the dude that pissed in the theater worked next door. So where did he think he was going? I
don't know. And he was like some weirdo that had his shirt off all the time. And he just like walked up and down the block. And when I tell you people, that job was an insane asylum, it was. I'm not making any of this up.
So it made sense why we bonded over that. It was a time. But that was about 13 years ago, and we've been besties ever since. I think we were friends for the first year, right? But yeah, that's how we met. I mean,
and we've been together for about 12 years. I Lore Drop, we're together.
We're together.
Wow, is that official?
Oh my god, wow. We made it official now. Do we have to start from zero, like the clock?
Do we? I don't know.
Yeah, we're together. So we've been together for about 12 years now. Wild stuff, I know. On to less. I feel cringe. I don't know. Next question. Next question. So T, this is also from Survivor Type.
Okay.
If you could eat one meal dish for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Okay, I could say like something like delicious, but do I have to like weigh the pros and cons of it if it's like healthy or not?
No, just one meal, and you're gonna be fine.
All right. I would have to say, okay. It's right now, it's a toss-up between pizza and green curry.
Ooh, Thai green curry?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good one.
I don't know. I'm thinking green curry.
Green curry. That is a good one. That is a good one. Yeah, I learned how to make that recently, and I think that's just so good. That's just upped our dinner game.
It's so good. With like white rice on the side. Oh.
Damn, that's a good one. Mine is. I feel like you know what mine is.
Pateles?
Oh no, that's a good one though. That's a Puerto Rican dish. I was gonna say a bowl of ramen.
Oh, ramen would be good. Yeah.
Yeah, a bowl of ramen. Honestly, I feel like I grew up on like cup of noodle when I was a kid and top ramen, and then I think in like high school or college, I went out to get like ramen at a restaurant. I was
Hmm.
like,
Like the legit ramen.
with vegetables and fresh vegetables, not like the freeze dried peas.
Hmm.
So I think a nice bowl of ramen is fantastic. And I will say second place is Mexican food from LA.
God, I forgot about that. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. We could have the food that I eat for the rest of my life, and then you could pick the food that you eat for the rest of your life, and then we could like mix and match every now and then.
Who made these rules up?
I did.
So are you changing your answer from Thai green curry to
No, because if you're if you're picking LA Mexican and I'm picking Thai green curry, then we'll just get infinite supply of each, and then every now and then we'll just like flip
I
it.
don't think that's how the question was. I don't think
That's
it
how-
allowed for.
Well, you know what? That's how I'm taking it. That's how I'm taking it. Take that, survivor type.
This is another question.
Okay.
If you could spend a day with any Metal Gear character, which one would it be and what would you do? Oh, I didn't see that last part. Ooh, maybe I'll change my answer.
Okay. I'm a little curious as to what your initial thing was. Okay. I could say like, ooh, I want to hang out with Solid Snake. Let's be real. I would probably vibe more with Otacon.
Fair.
And
Otacon's cool though.
yeah, no. Otacon is legit pretty fucking cool. And I would probably just have like an anime binge watching spree with him.
That would be sick. What would you watch?
Man, I don't know.
Gurren Lagann.
Oh, you would love Gurren Lagann.
Come on.
Like any mecha, any Gundam,
Oh, G Gundam.
anything, anything with mechs in it, he'll just nerd out about it. And like, I feel like he would be the kind of guy. Like we made this joke before, where like you want that like that OG bad dub of Sailor Moon.
Mm-hmm.
I can guarantee you that Otacon is the kind of guy that would be like, wow, coincidentally, I recorded all the episodes on VHS. Thankfully, I saved them. They're in my attic. You want me to bring them over? And I'd be like, hell yeah, I gotta bring them over.
So was Otacon your answer?
Yes.
That's a good one. I like that. Just like your little bestie.
He seems like he would be like a legit cool friend to hang out with. And by proxy, I'd hang out with his husband every now and then. That'd be kind of cool.
That is cool, right? Like you come over to their house and then you're like, oh, he's
Like,
here.
and then like I don't know, like Snake is on his way out or something.
You
It's
trying
like,
to make a move on Snake, or you trying to
no. No,
trying to break up a happy household?
No, I'm respectable. I would like Snake would be on his way out, and he'd be like, "I'm heading out," and I'd be like, "All right, Snake, see you later." Oh, it's so cool.
My
Bye.
name is Tom.
Bye, Dad.
That's pretty funny. Oh man, that's a good one. Wow, mine's not even good. I was gonna say
What?
Kaz, so I can give him a kiss.
That's a good answer.
I love Mr. Miller, Kazuhiro Miller, so much. I just want to give him a spooch. I think though, okay, if we're being for real,
Mm.
I feel like I'm making him a test subject. I would like to see Venom Snake. I would like to
Ooh.
hang out with Venom Snake. I think purely. Oh, can I be stupid and be like, I want him to be one of my clients?
No, you can do it. I mean, I think that's valid.
I feel like, okay, if he was an actual person and human, then what I'm doing is very terrible and unethical. But I just think like I would just like to know how he operates.
Are you doing like the I could fix him narrative?
Damn, damn, society got me good. Damn, I could fix him. Next.
I'm sorry.
Damn, that was a good one, Tom. You got me.
I'm sorry.
Damn, society ruined me. Damn. Let's continue. Let's continue. This is a great question. Apart from Metal Gear, which piece of media has influenced you the most throughout your life? I can start.
Oh, okay.
I would say besides Metal Gear, Resident Evil. Resident Evil 4 was really I would say the first game I beat on my own, and in the sense of like it was a challenge.
Mhm.
I remember playing Resident Evil 4. I was too young to be playing that. I must have been.
Hey, how old were you?
We can do real quick.
I think it came out in '04. I think '04.
Yeah, oh 05.
'05.
Oh 05. So I was 12. I guess I wasn't too young. I mean, it is gruesome.
Yeah.
So, but I remember being super young and being just scared. I remember being scared and not knowing what to do, just learning the GameCube controllers. But that game has stuck with me in such a way. I think it hit me in such a pivotal point. And I think just the story of like this fantastical story of like this ragtag team of, they're not even like special ops. They're just like wilderness explore. Like what are they, like wilderness explorers? Like the team, the OG team. They're not like special forces.
No, they're just like search and rescue people.
Yeah, search and rescue.
Yeah.
Thank you. So like they're brought into this whole like magical like virus type situation. You got Wesker. Like I just felt like it was such a cool story, and I think too that was really my first foray into horror. And I think just from there, I've been a big fan of Resident Evil, and it kind of just it made me. That's one of the two games that really made me fall in love with video games. Now I'm thinking about another series that I should have said instead.
What?
Legend of Zelda.
That's a major one.
That's kind of something how you and I first connected when we met.
Yeah.
I think it's when you kind of like started liking me after I spoke about Zelda, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would say specifically Resident Evil 4 because it just made me, I'm a really big horror fan, and it's because of that game. So I'll go with that.
Cool.
Thank you.
Now I could name a couple of video game series that I was influenced by, but I feel like a piece of media that has influenced me as much as Metal Gear has would have to be Lord of the Rings.
True.
I was about 10 when the first movie came out. And when I saw that movie for the first time, like when you're like a kid, like you just want to see action, And me and my friends would go around and we would pretend and we didn't know any of the names. So I was like, I'm sword guy, I'm bow guy, I'm axe guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we remember. And I feel like I was at like a really cool moment in my life when I saw those movies, because as I got older, I got to watch those movies again and again. And you get to appreciate different aspects of the movie that you didn't get when you were younger. So like you get all of the nostalgia as a kid, and then looking at it as an adult and seeing all the deeper meanings. And because of that, it's a universe that I just completely fell in love with. I read all of the books. I'm a huge nerd. I'm a huge nerd when it comes to this.
We rewatch it. We watch the whole series every year.
I'll have you know, if you peek in our streams, you could check it out on the shelf behind us. But I built this Metal Gear Rex model. It's a really deep. It's what was it called? I forget what it's called, but it's got like 1,000 pieces or some shit. I spent the entire day building this Metal Gear Rex model, and do you know what I had on in the background as I was building this?
What did you have on?
I had the extended editions of Lord of the Rings playing as background. And I'll have you know, I went through the Fellowship, Twin Towers. Sorry. I went through the Fellowship, the Two Towers, and Return of the King in one go. That was poorly timed. But
I was feeling so like inspired by you and so influential.
Look, we all have an oopsie, okay?
I don't know. We're New Yorkers.
Yeah, no. But I feel like that is at a core all of my dorkiness in one aura. Like if you were to like poke your head in and see like what's the most Tom thing? Building a Metal Gear Rex model while watching the extended editions of Lord of the Rings. That is peak T right there.
Yeah. And would you recommend the book series to people? Everyone knows the movies. The books are written back in what, the 19...
They were written in like the 30s, I believe. I mean, they were released in the 50s, but Tolkien was like working on them for like most of his life.
Would you recommend the book series?
Oh, hell yeah. Dune has... I read... This is not another humble brag. I also read Dune, all of the Dunes. But like, they're the precursor to all fantasy that has followed. And once you realize that, you see the influences everywhere you go.
Yep.
Now, like, you don't have to be a huge dork like me and read everything. You could just read The Hobbit. Like, I would recommend The Hobbit to anyone.
Okay, so maybe The Hobbit's a first entryway.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first book that Tolkien wrote. He wrote it legit. He wrote it for his kids, which is pretty cute.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a great series. It has a lot of great messaging. The movies touch on it in a better way than the books, but like there are a lot of characters in Lord of the Rings that have, you know, like I don't want to get too into the weeds, but there's like all this stuff with like toxic masculinity and stuff, and I feel like characters in the Lord of the Rings have what I would say like positive forms of masculinity.
They would be positive male role models in your eyes.
Yeah, like I feel that like people like Aragorn and Sam are, if you want to be the best man you could be, those two guys are the best role models to have, in my honest opinion. Just
love for their friends and family, general care.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen Samwise emotional. Like it was just...
Yeah. That's like true strength, because like it's I feel like it's easy to pretend that nothing affects you. And like people like Sam, like they give a shit.
Yeah.
And like you can't give a shit without getting emotional about it.
And being vulnerable and letting yourself know. And then also I think too, I feel like this is going many different routes, but it's so easy to be so like closed up and angry at the world and try to like isolate yourself or be this lone person. And you don't have to be. There's people out there who love and care for you. And I feel like Lord of the Rings, because I've watched it so many times because of you. Mm-hmm. And I feel like whenever I watch that movie, I just see this family. Mm-hmm. I see a family, and a family that cares about each other. And I feel like to me, like that's my takeaway, like chosen family in a sense.
Yeah. So
fantastic. No, that your answer was so much better than mine. I loved it. No, that was so good.
Oh, thank you.
So good. But I feel like if and when we do a different podcast series, the amount of things that we can vent and talk about, like think about our Lord of the Rings episodes if we were to do one.
Oh man, we could talk about so much stuff.
But thank you, Survivor Type. Thank you so much for those questions. Really appreciate this. We got a lot more, so let's keep it going. This question was actually sent to us. It kind of sent to us by Gray Fox Mando, who is fantastic. They've been emailing us their takes on the episodes, their takes on the games. They've been replaying it, and so thank you so much for reaching out. But in one of their letters, they were commenting on something we said in an episode where we were wondering whether Saul what was his political leanings. Mm-hmm. And so essentially the question is, was Saul a Republican or a Democrat?
See, that's a great question. Okay, right before we started recording, I was thinking, mm-hmm. during the events of Metal Gear Solid, they talk about how the president is going to meet up with Russia to negotiate the START 2 Accords. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, who was president during START 2? Maybe they'll give us a window. And the president during that time was George H.W. Bush, registered Republican. Mm-hmm. So maybe...
And in real life, in the game it was...
Oh yeah, and in the game it's Solidus, but in real life it's George Bush.
And in the game it's, President George Sears.
George Sears, sorry, yeah. George Sears, George Bush. I'm just saying, maybe. So you could just end it there, but, George Sears is his own man outside of George Bush. So...
And then we think about Metal Gear Solid 2, of course, I would consider George Sears separate from Solidus because, as we know, Metal Gear Solid 2, George Sears was placed into the presidency by the Patriots. And we can imagine that maybe George Sears acted in accordance with what the Patriots wanted.
That's true
And then
too.
Solidus would be his own, free to be his own person. But
Mhm.
still, I would say, George Sears most likely Republican based on George Bush. Solidus was very keen on the ideas of like the first Americans, like the origin of America.
George Washington, yeah, like the founding fathers. I
And people who usually reference them or kind of hold, like, I would say hold their ideals heavily.
Yeah, they
What
tend to be a little bit more on the conservative side. People who reference founding father ideals, so to speak. But man, I don't know.
Honestly, if people are interested in a 201 episode, we'll go through the series. We'll look at everything. If people are interested, let us know. Reach out. I would be happy to do a little 201 with Solid as a Republican episode.
If I was to just to take a stab at it right now, I would most likely say Republican,
Likewise.
but I would say closer to like a libertarian than a Republican.
I like that. That's a good point. Definitely libertarian. And I think too, at least of course we're speaking specifically for America. When you think of Republicans, the meaning has changed in recent years.
Yeah, we're thinking of Republicans circa early 2000s.
Like McCain.
McCain. Yeah, McCain is a pretty decent example.
But I like libertarian. I like that. So that's our general thought. But if you want a more thorough analysis, let us know. You ready for the next question?
Yeah.
This next question comes from Just Call Me Hoff. You can find them on Twitter. They ask, what game series besides Metal Gear do you think has the best characters and storylines? Very difficult question.
Yeah. Honestly, I was pondering on this right up until recording. I'm not confident in this answer.
We're going to finish recording. You're going to want to change it, right?
Yeah. And I love video games as a medium. It's like asking me like, what's my favorite movie? I don't know.
True.
I mean, I have a Lord of the Rings, but
you have there's a couple who are up there on the list.
Oh, hell yeah. But if you were to ask me today, I'm gonna say two. It's a cop out, I know, but hey, I don't care.
It's our podcast.
Yeah. I would have to say Fallout. I love specifically it's New Vegas. I love Fallout New Vegas. It's my favorite Fallout game. I love the role-playing options. I love that you could literally be any kind of person that you want to be. The lore is so cool in Fallout. Fallout lore is so cool. For number two, it's a little unorthodox, but I love the storyline in Dark Souls. I think Dark Souls has some of the best characters and story in gaming. And I know, crazy, right?
Because you have a dig for it.
You have to almost be like an archaeologist to look it up. But like when you do,
yeah,
the stories that are told are so good. So good.
It's funny because similar to you, I have two as well.
Mm-hmm.
The first one being Bloodborne.
I mean, similar vein, but Bloodborne, yes.
I just think and I wish I knew like the writers for those series, but you have to dig, yes, and it's something that's not told to you explicitly. But the From Software series, they really take their time with it, and I just think you're almost rewarded for dissecting and digging in and taking your time. And I honestly could not recommend Bloodborne enough. I think the fact that it's going to take people a long time to beat it also leads to you getting more invested in the story just because you're spending hours.
Yeah.
But still, it doesn't take away from just how thorough and detailed of a story it is. And my second one would be the Red Dead Redemption series.
That's an excellent answer.
I think about that game often. I think about Red Dead Redemption 2 often. We were talking earlier about like just kind of like positive male role models. And Arthur Morgan, I can't as a character, like I cannot.
What a guy, man.
I get goosebumps thinking about it. It's games like that where I laugh at people who say video games aren't an art.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as people
100%.
even recently, I remember being in grad school and talking about video games, and people would be like, you play video games?" And I'm like, "You're gonna look me like I didn't tell them this." I was like, "Yeah, I do," but they're gonna look me in my eye and tell me Red Dead Redemption 2 is not art. That game is.
There is legit world-class acting in Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, there are scenes in that game that I felt in Oscar-winning movies. Like, it is a beautiful game.
It's funny too because I know you and I had spoken about like our fan casting if they were to make. I feel like it'd be an HBO series, but part of me is like just port the cutscenes to HBO. Like don't even redo it. Like don't mess with what's already great.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful game. I couldn't recommend Red Dead enough.
Yeah, honestly. So just call me off. Great questions. Thank you so much for that. Next question.
Next question.
So next question comes from actually I don't know who this came from. I don't think it came from anybody. Maybe from us. I think we put some questions in here.
Oh, okay.
What other series, whether it be games or otherwise, do you hold in high esteem? I didn't even. Ooh.
You see, this is like it's similar to other game series that like we hold in high regard, but it's games that we really enjoy, but maybe like we don't think it's like the greatest story, but we just like
Yeah, it's more of a personal. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. The other one was like best character story. The other one was what has influenced us, and this one is just what do we hold.
Mm-hmm.
So good. Yeah, that's a good point. And I think this one too for me, I'll put something that's non-game related. Well, I have two.
Yeah, I did non-games for the other one, so I'll do games for this one.
Okay, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I'll do a cop out. I'll do two. I don't care. The first one, I'm gonna go a little bit outside the box, because I think it doesn't get enough praise. I'm gonna say Ace Combat.
Interesting.
Ace Combat.
I was not expecting that.
I know. I was gonna surprise you with this one. Ace Combat. Specifically, the ones that like I played and replayed is 5 and 0. Ace Combat 5 and 0 is borderline Metal Gear in the sky.
Okay.
Because you are a combat pilot, and there are missions in this game where you fight giant flying robots. Not like a humanoid thing, but there's like giant planes that you have to fight in this game.
That kind of sounds like what's that game from the From Software people? The mech one.
Oh, Armored Core.
Armored Core.
Oh, Armored Core is so good.
That's what it sounds like a little bit.
A little bit, but like it's more realistic in terms of like the planes and stuff. And the storylines are surprisingly like pretty decent. The storyline in Ace Combat 0, pretty cool.
Okay.
Another one I would say is Silent Hill.
Yes.
Specifically, and like, look, I've only ever played 2, but I will say this until my dying breath, that Silent Hill 2 is the best horror game I have ever played and probably will ever play.
I'm so glad you got a chance to play it.
I love that game. It is so good.
Yeah. Tom played it for the first time last year. You were able to buy it off a friend.
Mm-hmm.
So we got it honestly for an amazing price. And I was like, and Silent Hill has been something I've been watching since I want to say 97. I remember my dad playing Silent Hill 1 back in the day. And so when we saw 2 was being sold by a friend, I was like, Tom, you have to get it. You have to play this game, please. Mm-hmm. You didn't know anything.
No, I didn't know nothing. So I went in, I streamed Silent Hill 2. I went in completely blind. and it was such an incredible experience. Like it sounds boring, but when I tell you the amount of fear that you feel just walking down a hallway, it's something that I haven't felt in any other video game, and I think that really holds a light to the talent of the people that worked on this game.
Mm-hmm. No, great answers.
Yeah, that and the story. The story is incredible. Oh my god.
No. So Ace Combat and Silent Hill.
Yes.
Both games you hold in high esteem.
I do.
I cannot wait for you to play the other Silent Hills, but 2 was amazing.
Fantastic.
So glad you loved it. For me, I would pick one game and one series.
Okay.
For a game that I hold in high esteem, Kingdom Hearts. 1 and 2 hit me when I was, I think, about 9 or 8 years old. This little girl in the Bronx playing this game. I remember I was like, what is the game with Mickey and Donald and Goofy? And then from there, just the existentialism that was brought into my life from that game. I hear Simple and Clean, and I get goosebumps to this day.
Yeah. No, we were just... Like a little bit of lore about us. We were just watching. What's her name?
Yutada Hikaru.
We saw her perform. We not live. But like we were just like watching like YouTube videos of her, and I look over at Kay, and her eyes are all watery, and I'm like, "You good?" And then she was just like, "It's just I'm brought back to my childhood."
That I cannot begin to express my love for Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. It's something to this day me and Em talk about. It's a fantastic game, and I'll stop myself now before going on a tangent. Mm-hmm. But the series that I hold in high esteem, and to my dying day, I'll never stop talking about it, Midnight Mass.
Oh my god, yes!
Midnight Mass is a one-shot series. It's on Netflix. It's stuck on Netflix. There's no physical copies you can get. I forgot who was the director or creator of it.
Oh, I know he did Haunting on Hill House.
He did, Haunting on Hill House and some other stuff, but this was his magnum opus. Mm-hmm. This is what he always wanted to do. And I don't like the other shows that he's done. This one, I cannot begin to tell you, it is perfect.
Yeah.
It is honestly, might be one of the most perfect media I've ever seen. Every minute in that show is accounted for and used to progress the story and flesh out this world. I cannot.
Yeah, it is, in my opinion, like a piece of media in terms of like horror that is up there with like The Shining and any other like iconic horror movie. It like will be, in my opinion, as years go on, that series will be like one of the greats, in my opinion.
And it's if you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. If you don't like it, well, you should.
You should.
it's fantastic, and I think too. I hold that in such high esteem. I think also partly because I feel like not enough people are talking about it. Mm-hmm. I feel like we found it by chance. It was hilarious. Because I saw a tweet from Kojima. Kojima's always watching movies and TVs, whatever, TV shows. And I never look at any of his recommendations. I just like his tweet and whatever. But for some reason, I saw this tweet. I feel like it was sent from above. Uh-huh. I saw this tweet, and this is the only tweet of his I've ever done this. He said, I just watched Midnight Mass, and it was amazing, blah, blah. I loved it. And I said, T, we should watch this. Kojima liked it. Maybe we'll... And... blown away.
Yeah.
But I've never looked at any of the other media he's tweeted about, so it felt like it was almost meant to be.
Yeah, I feel like it was. Maybe we'll check out his other recommendations. He hasn't really steered us wrong before.
That one is honestly the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. So you're right. We should expand to his other tweets. But yeah, those are the two I would say. Okay. Next question. This question is from Metal Gear Resurrection's own Johnny. Johnny. Wow. From Metal Gear Resurrections, our friendly neighborhood podcast, our friendly old neighbor. Friendly old neighbor. I'm your hell diving buddy. My hell diving veteran buddy. We're in the trenches together, man. Johnny asks the two of us, what's your favorite thing to do on a rainy day? Play Helldivers with Johnny. Aww.
aside from that, I feel like if I'm completely by myself, if for whatever reason you're outside of the house, I like to watch
Good point.
I like to watch lore videos. Um, I have like an inkling of like if there's something that like I want to know all there is to know about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be something that like I know everything about. Like if someone out there has like a Metal Gear lore video, I want to check it out.
Yes.
Not because and not this is not a humble brag. Not because I want to learn something new, because I probably know a lot. But I've
Okay.
no
Humble brag.
no. I'm on a Metal Gear lore podcast. All right, I think I could say that. But I go in because like I really value people's opinions, and I love how the series has shaped different forms of opinion from different people, and I just love how people come to different conclusions and how they see characters differently. If you see Big Boss as a good person, you're wrong. I'm sorry, but I'll check out the video. I'll see your argument, and then I'll just be like, you're wrong. Yeah. But, you know, I'm not a hater. I just think you're wrong.
Yeah, and it's funny, Tom and I always talk about this. Even if we disagree with video, we'll never downvote it if it's like just a general opinion piece. If it's like bad, like you're a bad person because you hold certain viewpoints, we'll downvote it or whatever, block it. But we'll never downvote a video because it's a different opinion. It's just you're wrong, and we'll keep it moving.
Yeah,
we'll give you a view.
I give you kudos for making it because, like, I know from experience, like making lore videos is a lot of work, and to put your opinion out there takes a lot of courage. So I give you that. But Big Boss is a monster. I'm sorry. Anyway,
put him on trial.
Maybe we should. What do you like to do on a rainy day?
I like what you said because if we're together, honestly, I can answer both of us. Cup of coffee, a good TV show, or just literally I feel so cringe. We just sit on the couch with a cup of coffee and just talk.
Yeah, that's we're just so corny.
Oh my god. Anyway, if it's just me at home on a rainy day, I would say I love to listen to a good podcast. I will maybe put a podcast on or a Twitch stream on and play a game. I would say Vampire Survivors was my go-to. I recently just got all the achievements for that. So I'll find a game on Steam and just, play that. If not, sadly, I'll be on TikTok. I'll retweet some of Survivor Type's art on Twitter, do my socials. But I would say a good background sound, podcast, Twitch stream, and then playing a video game.
That's a great answer.
Thank you. Next question. This next question comes from Metal Gear D Model on Twitter. They are currently working on, I guess, reconstructing the D model.
Yeah, I think if I remember this right, they have reference to like a reference model that Konami had for Metal Gear D, and they want to like more or less make it available for everyone.
So fantastic. Like, amazing. They had a Kickstarter. I believe they reached a goal, but check them out on Twitter, Metal Gear D Model. Great work. Fantastic work. It was funny because talking about models, their question is, what order would you rank the various Metal Gear units featured in the series? From Metal Gear 1987 to Metal Gear Solid 5, 2015. They wrote, and please, don't feel pressured to rank Metal Gear Rex in first place just because everyone else thinks it's cool.
Okay, you got it, man.
Yeah, fantastic. So I think you and I, we have different rankings.
Yeah, we do.
Different criteria.
So I ranked mine based on ability. And I could be wrong, and you could disagree. That's fine. We could duke it out. So starting from the bottom, so I'm going from worst to best. I have Sahelanthropus, because, without Psycho Mantis, that thing is nothing.
True.
But it is cool. Then I have the Gecko, because they're just kind of like mass-produced, kind of and you could like disable them with like an assault rifle by shooting them in the legs. Kind of Up next is the Metal Gear Mark II, Now, this is very good. It's very versatile, but there are better things on this list. Uh, Up next is the TX55.
The OG.
The OG Metal Gear. This one, we don't see a lot of action from it because we destroy it before it's even like 100% finished. But the fact that it is like completely invulnerable unless you like hit the legs in a specific order,
True.
kind of crazy. But that's a lot of resilience, so I give them credit for that. So you get that spot. Up next is Metal Gear Excelsis.
Excelsis?
Excelsis. I mess up every time.
No, I don't even know if I'm right.
I don't know. It's the Metal Gear from Rising. It's a giant Metal Gear with giant chainsaw arms. It looks like a giant crab. It's very intimidating. I just think it looks cool. Up next it's not technically a Metal Gear, but whatever. It's the Shagohod from Metal Gear Solid 3.
Fair.
I think that if we were to try to build a Metal Gear, if we were gonna try in real life, I think Shagohod is probably like the most realistic thing that we could make.
A giant tank, essentially.
It's just a tank with a rocket on it, and we could do that. Up next is Peace Walker. I'm not really a fan of AI at all, but having an AI determine where nukes should be fired.
Yeah, kind of bad.
Kind of bad, but it's very resilient, so it earns that spot.
Where you're basing it purely on ability, and it does
the job that it is intended to do. It does it well. Up next is Arsenal Gear.
Well, I guess it kind of didn't, right? Because it kind of walked in the water.
Oh yeah. Well, they didn't account for that.
Yeah. It could have done.
It could have done a little bit better. Up next is Arsenal Gear. Now, Arsenal Gear is more or less a giant battleship with a bunch of Metal Gears inside of it, and it controls all of the internet. If it didn't crash into Manhattan, it would have been the center of the Patriots' control, and I think that is a very formidable tool in the Patriots' arsenal. So I think Arsenal is a very cool Metal Gear. Then I got Zeke. I know, Zeke ahead of Arsenal, I know. But I just think Zeke is cool, all right? Then I got Metal Gear D, because I think Metal Gear D is badass. And it's a very underrated Metal Gear. Then I have Metal Gear Ray.
Mm-hmm.
Because Ray's pretty cool. I like that its laser is just a giant water gun.
That was actually that's pretty cool.
And I'm not just saying this because
what did Metal Gear D model just say?
I know, and it's not because I think I'm not trying to appease the fan base here. I really do genuinely like Rex, and the idea. And hear me out. It's not just the ability, that I think it just looks cool and shit. The idea of a stealth nuke fired from a railgun, completely impossible to intercept, is a terrifying weapon. That is, I don't think any other game has like really come close to a stealth nuke, because that's nuts. That's crazy, man. And also, I was debating whether Ray or Rex should be number one, and I remembered in 4 and Snake piloted a Rex to defeat a Ray, so I'm like, I guess Rex beats Ray, so Rex is number one.
Fair. Or because it was Snake piloting it.
You see, that could be it too. I don't know, but anyway, that's my list.
Rex at the top of the list.
I'm not appeasing anybody. This is literally me.
This is coming from the heart.
This is coming from the heart, man.
So, you rank them on ability. I'm ranking them on how cool they look.
I think that is just as valid.
It's just based on how cool I think these look. And I'm just going to list them. I'm not going to go into specifics. But this is from best to worst.
Okay.
Sahelanthropus.
It does look cool.
It does. Rex.
Oh, not number one?
No, number 2. You see, I'm different.
Mm.
I'm not like the other girls.
Okay.
Number 3, Metal Gear D. Ray. Arsenal. TX55. Shagohod. Gecko. Mark II. Zeke. And Excelsus. I really do think the Metal Gear from Rising was kind of whack. I'm not gonna lie. It looked like, let me just draw it with good, just chainsaws, and it's a mech, and it's gonna be so strong.
Yeah, I mean,
it looks chaotic.
Yeah, and you know that Metal Gear was just a prelude to the main event.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, people don't think of Rising and think of the Metal Gear. They think of a certain senator.
That is a good point. I forgot there was a Metal Gear in that one. You were like Excelsus. Like, when the hell was there Excelsus?
Yeah, nobody remembers that one. It's kind of whack.
But Metal Gear D Model, thank you so much for this question. Best of luck on your project. Cannot wait to reap the benefits of your hard work. So thank you.
Yeah, I love your projects. You're an amazing creator, and I cannot wait to build a Metal Gear D, and it is all thanks to you. So thank you.
Yep.
Honestly.
And thank you also. I guess we do little shout outs with the last few questions. Shout outs to Survivor Type, creating fantastic artwork. Metal Gear related and not Metal Gear related. And shout outs to Metal Gear Resurrections, our man Johnny, for just being a great support, fantastic podcast, and just a cool another Boricua out here doing it.
They found us when our podcast literally had no followers, and they were our number one fan from the jump.
You know, so
we give you a lot of credit, and thank you so much for all the support.
Yep, you are supportive, and you're also creating your own cool shit. So
yeah,
thank you.
If you haven't followed their podcast already, please check them out.
You might hear some familiar voices.
Yeah, coming up soon. Maybe, yeah.
All right, so these are the last few questions. I cannot believe we're over an hour already. And these are questions I think you and I wrote.
Mm-hmm.
So, were these the ones we wrote? I don't know. If someone wrote these, I'm so sorry. I didn't write the notes here. Next question. T.
Yes.
How was it to first play the series?
Well, I started playing this series when I was like 10 years old, much like Lord of the Rings. I feel like that was probably the reason why I hold the both of them in such high regard. My first intro to Metal Gear was from a Pizza Hut demo disc, and before then I was playing like Sonic the Hedgehog and Streets of Rage and stuff. And they were fun in their own right, but this was like the first game that had like voices and opening credits and the whole shebang, and I was like, wow, this is like next level. I have to get in on the ground floor here. What is this? And I have played every game since release, and I haven't looked back. A thing that like I really miss is, and for me the peak was right before 3 came out. I used to love going in all the forums online and checking out all the crazy theories that people would make, and I would just like spend so much time just reading theories and like being a part of the discourse. And like half the fun of being a Metal Gear fan was not even playing the game. It was theorizing what the game was going to be before the game even came out. Agreed.
I honestly like doing that solo or with people, just really kind of breaking down this convoluted storyline and trying to like really understand like what is the point and where is this going? Would you say it's the story or gameplay that kept you all these years later?
Oh man, they're both even-handed.
That's fair.
I mean, it's mainly the story. I love the story. For the gameplay, I love the fact that each Metal Gear game has its own feel. And I give Kojima credit for not sticking to the same formula for each game, because I mean, like for example, like the leap from Metal Gear Solid 3 to 4 is like you would be surprised to know that it was the same studio. It has such a different feel. And even from like 4 to 5, like the evolution of this series in terms of gameplay is something that I wish more games did.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at you right now, and I'm seeing just like I can only imagine how you look as a kid playing it.
I had so much fun.
No, I mean this series when I first met T, this was something that we, we both found that we were both dorks, nerds, and so we began speaking about our favorite series, and I remember like literally your eyes lighting up talking about this series. And I feel like it's funny to say this, but I feel like every time we play this game, I feel like you feel the same joy you felt when you first played it. Like you still have that.
I really do. Like a lot of people out there, they have like this almost like a negativity towards remembering these types of games where they lose the magic, so to speak. And that I don't feel like that has happened at all for me. Like I love playing these games. There's like man, man, you all have no idea. I can play that game every day and be okay.
Just to add on real quickly, I came onto the series a little bit later. I always knew from T it was a fantastic series. He always tried to get me to play these games. And I'm not sure what finally put me onto it, but I played Metal Gear Solid 2 first, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a few years ago. And I was like, oh, this game is cool. I was like, okay, I like the story, right? And it was a very hard game for me to play. Then I played 3, and I think 3 is what sold it for me. I remember there was a part I was in the middle of playing it, and it took me a very long time. And I remember being on the train, and it's on the train, and I was listening to some music, and Snake Eater just came up on like the next suggested songs.
Mm.
And I remember listening to it, and it's playing, and I'm on the subway, and I'm like, I get it. I get it. It felt, the series just felt cinematic towards me. Like, to me. It really felt like, I know Kojima's whole thing is like, I wanted to feel like a movie. It felt like a movie. I felt like I was playing a game where I was really getting to know these characters. And to me, I mean, maybe this is sacrilegious, I could care less about the gameplay. The story is what grabbed me. And I feel like 3's story, I was like, I need to know more about what happens to everybody. I need to know more about the in-game world. And I think to play it and also not be spoiled, you always did a great job of not spoiling me. Mm-hmm. You were just like, play it. And so when I got to it and like that shock of the end of 3 and then understanding where Naked Snake goes in his life, like I feel like that journey, I was going on that journey with him. Like, no! Turn back!
It's not too late!
It's not too late, please! I loved you. So I feel like it was just, it felt, again, I'm gonna be a broken record. It's art.
Mm-hmm.
It really is art. So, I'm late to the game, but I'm trying to catch up, and I mean, we're both here with the podcast, so.
Yeah. And I think we're doing pretty good. I think we're okay.
No, I mean, I just mean like just to like, it was important enough that we felt the need to just kind of like create, like just to still talk about it all these years later.
Yeah.
In the same vein, which character stood out to you?
Oh God.
You can do 2.
I mean characters.
Oh yeah, true. Let's pick 2.
I'll do 2. Characters that stood out to me.
Mm-hmm.
God.
I'll pick 1.
Okay.
And he's my fave also. Kazuhira Miller. I love him. I made a custom shirt of him. I think about him a lot. A lot of fan art and not fan fiction yet, sadly. I didn't need to look into
There's
it.
no fan fiction out there?
No, I haven't looked.
There's gotta be.
No, completely. I just haven't looked for it yet. But I feel like with Miller, I feel like I love his story in conjunction to like his relationships. And I think I like him so much because I think about specifically him and Peace Walker, and him and Big Boss trying to create something together. And like that was the game where they really, that was a falling out. The end of the game was really
Yeah.
their falling out. And then seeing Kaz in 5, I think just seeing the Scorn character, like this very complex evil character, I felt it was such a, is the word visceral? Like I felt like we really got a character who was just so angry and vulnerable and emotional. Like I feel like his emotions were on a roller coaster throughout that. In
Mhm.
comparison to Ocelot, in comparison to even Skullface, and certain, like you have very rigid, like I'm strong and I have a goal, and I feel like um Kaz is just so full of anger.
Yeah, he just lashes out at anything.
And I just felt like, especially if you think about like seeing him in earlier games and like understanding where he came from, like he just seeing this very Scorn character, something about it just resonated with me so much. I
Mhm.
mean, is he a good or evil character? I mean, we can talk about that, but I just his character, I feel like I love him so much. Such a like interesting character.
That is a really good choice. Oh God. I don't know.
You don't know?
I really don't know.
It's hard to pick one, right?
I
It's not your favorite. It just stood out to you.
um I would have to say I like Volgan.
Okay, that's actually really cool.
Um and it's nothing due to any story reason. Well, kind of. It's mainly because that guy is probably one of like the only Metal Gear villains that was just like a very simple, like he just wanted to be a messy bitch and cause havoc, and he just did it because he liked to be messy. Like Skullface, you could argue had a similar motive, but like he was scorned, you know.
Yeah.
Volgan was just like, I want to blow up the world, and you're all gonna watch.
That is true, right? Very simple minded almost.
Yeah, and I kind of respect that because every other character in the series has like a deep motivation.
There's twists. They're like double agents. Like
And Volgan, what I like the fact with him, what you see is exactly what you get, and I respect that, especially in this series.
I'm excited to see how he looks in Delta. Like I'm curious to see.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. So
We got like a glimpse in a way.
the pachinko game.
No, not the well that too.
Sorry. Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
it's okay. But you got like a glimpse in 5. There's like a
Oh.
very quick cutscene where you see Volgan in the Fox engine as he was almost like in Snake Eater. So maybe he'll look kind of like that.
And
We'll
even then, that jump from 3 to 5, like just like that storyline, real like
Mm-hmm.
it's so interesting.
Yeah, even in 5.
Yeah.
How simple was Volgan in 5?
Yeah, that's a good point. That is.
He was even simpler. He was hate. That's it.
He had the wrong guy.
He had the wrong guy.
Oh, yeah. It's so funny. So funny. Great question. We're getting to the end, everybody. Thank you for listening. I feel like self-conscious. What was your main takeaway from the series? Jeez.
Main takeaway.
I feel like we did Metal Gear Solid 2. We did our all-out episodes, and I feel like that ending is, I feel like it's what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
You want to elaborate?
I feel like each and every Metal Gear Solid game has like a core message of like war sucks. Don't glorify it. And also connect with people because people are pretty neat and find something worthwhile and pass that on. Because you might not be able to control everything in your life, but you can control what you like or dislike or your interests, and you could pass that on to the next person. And through little bits like that, that might be enough to change the world maybe someday, you know?
Yeah. I feel the same. I feel like my main takeaway is really kind of Solid Snake and Otacon. Like I really feel the love that they have between the two of them and the love that they have for the world, despite where they came from. These two men went through so much trauma in their life. And for them to still have love and hope for the future,
That's a lot of strength.
that's a lot of strength, and it means so much to me because I feel like we all, you know what, let me speak personally. You get bogged down by like everything in life, work, bills, goals, like, things you're trying to do, friendships, relationships. And I feel like it's so easy, like you were mentioning earlier, to just kind of fall into very negative. You said nihilist? What you said, like
A nihilist, yeah.
it's not that it's simple, but it's like, how could you not with everything that's going on?
Yeah.
And I feel like at times it is a choice to want to be happy. It is a choice to leave your house, to find people and make these connections. Like, it's really, this game is about being vulnerable, and being vulnerable because I want to give the world and people a chance.
Yeah, I agree fully. The world makes it really easy to turn into Big Boss, but it takes a lot of strength to be in a world like this and be like Solid Snake and Otacon.
Yep. So for me, that's honestly my main takeaway. I think it's, they are some of the best characters. That they're just, that's kind of how I want to operate.
I like that.
I feel like you and I want to be Solid Snake and Otacon.
I think yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I think we could do that.
Then that would have been a good question to end it on, but we have a few more questions.
Damn, yeah.
Okay, last few. If you could change any part of the series, either gameplay or story, what would you change?
God. Okay. I'm only gonna pick one because we've been at this for a minute. If I had to pick one thing to do, it would be the whole Ocelot arm retcon situation.
Ooh, good one.
I feel that Ocelot mind controlling himself to be Liquid Snake is dumb. And I'm sorry, but I think it's dumb. I don't like it. I love the idea of him having this latent supernatural power where a ghost possessed him and he couldn't control it because his dad had the same ability. And I think it made so much sense. And I don't know why they touched on it in 3 and as an explanation on how it happened in 2, only to backpedal and do a completely different thing in 4. I didn't like it. But yeah, that is me. Okay.
If I could change any part of the series, they still have time to do it. I would like for them to remake Metal Gear 2.
That's a good one.
I would like for them to do that, not because Metal Gear 2 is bad or because people can't play it now. You should play it. It's great. You would get new fans because it's a great story. It's a beautiful game. And, some people need the updated graphics. Some people need that to play a game. But I think also it'd be cool to see the game in that light, in a 3D world.
Imagine seeing Metal Gear D in all its glory.
I think that would be amazing. And then the fight with Dr. Madnor.
Oh my god!
Where you get choked.
How are they gonna do that?
Just this old guy trying to. How scary! He's just running after you, trying to choke you. I want to see it. That's what I would change.
Okay.
They still have time. And you're gonna get a missile.
Yeah, right.
And then they're like, how is he eating these missiles?
Like Dr. Madnor can eat a lot of these missiles, man.
Okay. Which character do you hate the most and for any reason? Huey. Thank you.
Yeah, I would probably also say Huey.
I will add, it's not only because he's a bad guy. He doesn't stand by any kind. He doesn't stand by his word. Big Boss is an evil character, but he says and does what he means. Huey's just shifty, conniving.
He's just a little fucking weasel.
You know, this Huey.
Huey modified a virus, caused an outbreak that could have ended the world, and Venom had to clear out a whole building and got super traumatized from it. And then that dude had the nerve to be like, "You killed them! It's your fault! Fuck you! Get out of here!"
Killed his ex-girl. The father of his...
Like, no remorse.
No, did not even care. And then, random child they found in the world, they were like, "You want to go on the Metal Gear?"
Getting that goddamn robot kid.
Didn't he put Otacon in Metal Gear too?
He did.
So, evil, just self-serving, and I cannot deal with people who are just completely self-serving. I might have to do a deconstructing of Huey.
That would be good.
I would be angry the whole time writing that.
You piece of shit. Fuck you.
I mean, I have a degree to like really analyze him. Let's see. But T.
Mm-hmm.
That was the last question. How did we end it on Huey? That makes me a little upset though. But this is the end of all the listener letters, the questions. This is the end of the Get to Know Us episode. How do you feel?
I mean, this is a big change of pace for what we've done for a while. So if you've listened to this for this long, I give you a lot of credit. Thank you. It means a lot, and I can't wait to make more episodes for you guys because I've had a lot of fun doing this, and I think you had fun yourself, right?
I love doing this podcast. I love that we are talking about Metal Gear, and I am just so grateful for all the people we've met due to this. I'm grateful that we did this. I'm grateful we went to Metal Gear Solid Con. I'm grateful, like, this has all been really, really exciting.
I can't wait to go to Metal Gear Solid Con this year.
And we're going to be able to, we went last year and it was just the two of us. We didn't know anybody. But now we're going there and we're going to know people, and maybe we'll do karaoke or dinner or just get a drink at a bar, and just like, like we said earlier, I just love connecting with people.
Mm-hmm.
Over a shared love of a game, but just people who have just been just chill ass people doing the damn thing.
I couldn't have said it any better. I love this community, and I love that we've carved our own little corner in it, and I like that people enjoy our little corner.
Yeah, thank you for being in our corner. So to end it, T, what is one goal you have for this podcast and for yourself? Let's say this year.
Okay. Well, a goal that I have for this podcast, honestly, I you know, you can say the corny shit and it's like, I want to grow and stuff. And of course, yeah, sure. I mean,
it's valid.
Growth is cool, but I want to have a community that is something positive. Like, I want to have, because like everybody sees it online. It's not just Metal Gear, but just like in general, like people are so quick to be negative. People are so quick to bash something, and I want the discourse to be different. I want it to come from a place, not to say that you can't criticize something, but like I want to create a space where everybody is just having fun. Because like I think, especially us old farts, like people forgot to have fun. This is a game. Like, let's have fun, man.
Yeah. No, you're right. This is a video game. We're talking about a video game series that began in the 80s.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, and like, yes, video games are art, but like at the same time, like Starship Troopers is a really good critique at how fascism affects a society and how information control affects everything that we do. But it's also a dumb movie where you shoot bugs. And that's okay. It's fun.
It's fun. And I feel like too, for a lot of us old heads, we've played this game and we felt that spark years ago, and now we're older and like that spark is not as strong, or maybe we don't feel it. Like we haven't felt a spark like that since. That is okay.
Yeah.
I feel like even me, sometimes nostalgia, it's bittersweet, but sometimes it's more bitter.
Yeah.
I want nostalgia to be more sweet. I want to hear Simple and Clean and be like, what a hell of a time.
Right.
What a hell of a time that was, and I'm so grateful for that moment. Metal Gear Solid, if Delta let's say it's not good, we have the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection. We can go back and play Metal Gear 2 and be like, wow, what an amazing game.
Mm-hmm.
And let it be that.
Yeah. I want Metal Gear Delta to be like the second coming of 3. I want it to be as good as 3, if not better. But even if it's not, knock it on wood, if it's not, we have the OG 3 readily available for all modern hardware. And that, to me, is the real prize.
What is a goal for yourself?
Goal for myself? 2. I would like to have a freelance-esque video editing stuff.
Uh-huh.
If you're listening this far, and you have video editing requests, just check out my stuff at YouTube at TKandM. If that's something that tickles your fancy, feel free to shoot an email, and maybe we can link up. We'll see. And I would like to grow my career as an actor. I feel like, everybody has this story, but like I feel like COVID really threw me for a loop, and it put me on a path that I feel like I'm in many ways still trying to get out of. And I want to get back on track. So also, if you have any any ideas,
any connections,
hook a guy up. And I'm not begging here, but like I'm begging, but I'm just saying. And what about you? What are your goals?
For this podcast, I would say a goal is to keep creating quality over quantity. That goes with YouTube as well. Like I really want to take our time with it and keep working hard at it. I don't want it just to make stuff like, oh, we have to hit this deadline. Like I really want it so that whatever we put out is the best that we can do.
Yeah.
And I think that's my goal with this podcast.
Yeah, I agree. Just
to do quality and continue being creative. I've never felt creative, and I feel like this past 6 months, this past year, I'm like, who am I? Like, what am I doing? It's kind of cool that like earlier we was like, oh, okay, she's the writer. Like, wow.
Because you are.
It's very humbling. And I would say a goal for myself, I would say I want to get my license for like my day job. And I think for all this that we're doing now, it'd be cool to be on some panels or maybe do collaborations.
It'd be pretty cool.
I feel like we have enough experience talking about mental health and experiencing mental health. And I feel like we also work really hard in all our video editing and podcasts and research. I really think it'd be cool to collab on whether it's fun or serious. I think it'd be cool to work with others. And I think on a panel, it'd be cool to really express our points of views. Yeah, it'd be cool to expand in that way.
Yeah, that would be pretty fun.
But that is it. This is 201 episode about TKandM, about T, about K.
Wow. About us.
About us. Everybody, thank you so much for listening, sending questions in. You can continue to send questions in. We probably won't have another like full episode like this. It'll be sprinkled into other episodes.
Yeah, maybe we'll pepper in letters every episode here or there.
Yeah, be like we'll add it to the intro section. As always, our email is it's tkandm@gmail.com. That is itstkandm@gmail.com. We will be back in 2 weeks with a 2-in-1 episode. I don't think we've decided on a topic yet, but it's a 2-in-1 episode for a few more episodes before we go on to 3.
Yeah, because like we did a lot of 101s, and we want to balance it out just a little bit, because because goddamn,
Because you know why? You know what's good enough reason? Because we want to.
we want to.
That's it. As always, you can reach out to us on Twitter, on YouTube, on Twitch, TKandM. That's our username for everything but Instagram. Someone took her. I don't know. It's like, I'm going to get that username one day. I'm going to get it. It's like a dead account on Instagram. I'm going to get it.
Maybe we'll get it someday. Yeah.
But other than that, anything else you want to say or end it with?
Thank you all for listening. You guys are really cool. Everybody that listens to us regularly, that says hi, and that who we're active with on the regular. I couldn't have ever imagined being connected to so many people, and it's surreal, because I say this every other episode, but we're recording this in like a little room, and it's hard to believe that like people are listening on the other end of this thing. And I just want to thank you for listening.
Thank you. We don't take it for granted. That is all. Have a good night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. See you later.
Goodbye.
Bye.